Welcome, welcome. Welcome to almost one of the last lectures in this parent boot camp. I'm Dr. Jordan Smith. I'm here once again, and I'm very excited about this topic about how to monitor high school credits. We've been discussing why it is important to monitor your child's progress in school. So we will continue this topic of discussion with a focus on high school graduation requirements, diagnostic testing, truancy, interventions, SST, IEP, and 504 plans. And don't worry if you don't understand the acronyms that I've been using as an educator. My apologies. But by the end of this lecture, you will definitely have a better understanding. So we're going to discuss the difference between multi-tiered system of supports in response to intervention. This lecture is going to fill up your cup of knowledge with the final tools, almost there. For the final tools, I'm putting all these weapons in there for you to use or pull out the toolbox. It's going to help your child succeed in school. Okay, and this is the tools of parental involvement that we're speaking of. So this lecture is about how to monitor your students' high school credits. You know, if a parent doesn't understand this system about earning credits, then that child is in danger. Your child is in danger of dropping out of school in the future. This review needs to be done every semester. And don't wait until the end of the last semester of high school. It's a little bit too late then. Let's go. Okay, so high school requirements. To receive a high school diploma, students must fulfill the state district graduation requirements. And they are state mandated. So that you have 3 years of English, 2 years of math, 3 years of social science, which is history, world history, American government, and economics. 2 years of science is a minimum, 2 years of physical education, and also 1 year of a foreign language or visual fine arts, as they call it. You can also input in their computer science courses in there that fits up in there, even American Sign Language and a foreign language. Okay, so these are all the requirements. So as we take a look at the requirements, there are actually a minimum of 13 courses, but a lot of them are over 1 year. Which means the course has, if it's over for 1 year, it has a total of 10 credits. So when we add everything up, we come up with this magic number of 130 credits. It's the state minimum requirement, 130 credits. So they have identified the courses that they must take, and we have the 130 credits. This is something that was used. So you have the state minimum, and you have high schools and districts decide that they want to do more, okay? And during the pandemic, that 130 was a magic number that allowed a lot of students to graduate because they didn't need all the other electives. And you'll understand exactly what I mean as we get to the other ways. So the other ways to graduate, there are two others. One is the California High School Proficiency Exam, or HiSET. The other is to pass the GED, okay, which is the General Education Development Test. But understand this. If you're taking the California High School Proficiency or the GED, these tests are based off of the state minimum requirements. So you're still going to get tested, okay? And you're going to get tested on that same content and knowledge. So it's not an easier path. Let's look at one school district's requirements to gain a deeper understanding of how all of this works. So SJA, in which I'm looking here in my school district. So the comprehensive school has 230 credits and requires 70 electives. That's a lot of elective classes. The continuation school requires 200. How did they do that? Well, one thing they did was get rid of 25 of those electives and only required 35 electives. And they added a couple of other courses that was going to make sure that these kids were going to be properly prepared for things in life. Independent study winds up being 200 credits, which is, again, very similar. We also have an adult education, 180 credits. So they wiped out all those extra electives and also wiped out the requirement for doing physical education. Some adults may need to do physical education, but unfortunately, you don't have it. And then they have a community service requirement. The high school is 40. The other alternative schools are requiring 20. And the adult education is requiring 10. So those are the district requirements. We've done the state and we've done the district. Now you also have special circumstances for foster care students. And the foster care students, guess what? fall up under the 130 credits. These kids have been moved from household to household, from high school to high school typically, and bouncing around. You're not really stable and everything else, and so they have a 130 credit minimum for foster kids up under the Foster Youth Law, AB 167. Okay, so we also have what you call A through G requirements. These are the requirements that, in this case, for California State University has laid down. If you want to enter from high school directly into a 4-year college university, you have to have the minimum. And these are the minimum courses that they are requiring, but you also have a recommended. If you're trying to get a scholarship, you got to do you have to do the recommended and above. Okay, but we're seeing some of the same courses. Like, you still have history and social science. Okay, they're saying 2 years, and just like in this case, that the one district had 3 years. Okay, English, they're recommending 4 years. Math, 3 years. Highly recommended 4 years of math. Language arts, or language other than that, in other words, taking a foreign language, fine arts, and also a college preparatory class. And I think this is kind of light here on this 1 year. I actually think you should be taking college preparatory classes as much as possible, and way more than just the 1 year. But anyway, that's the A through G requirement of C- or less. In high school credit opportunities, now we're going to take a look. So we already know how many credits you need for minimum, 130, whether you're foster or just the minimum requirements for the state. We also understand that school districts require a higher number, okay? But now we're going to look at what are the opportunities to earn credits, okay? So we're going to first look at what we call a traditional high school, a traditional setting that normally has 6 periods per day, and you're taking 1 course per period. So 4 years of a seat-based traditional school, you get 5 credits normally per course, which is for a semester. This is in California. You're taking 6 courses per semester. That means you can earn 30 credits per semester. 6 times 5, let's do the math. And then you have 2 semesters for the year, which means you can earn 60 credits per school year. There are additional opportunities, okay? One is summer school. Summer school is normally done right during the summer, which means you normally can take 2 courses, which means you can earn 10 credits, and over 3 years, because you're going to take it the summer of your freshman year, the summer of your sophomore year, the summer of your junior year. You're planning on graduating on time, so you got 30. Credit recovery programs allows you to take an extra period, which means some schools allow you to do a 0 or a 7th period to allow you to do credit makeup, which means it's like adding another course per semester, which means, again, 10 credits for 3 years, which is your freshman, sophomore, and junior years. You can do the credit recovery to try to get your credits in order. Adult education means, which is primarily left to seniors as a last resort. They are required to go and attend night school, which means that they can earn 5 credits for every 9 weeks. Since the traditional school is a seat-based program, that's why even at the adult night school, when they're taking the courses, they have to do 45 hours, which is the equivalent of the 9 weeks. So, okay, so they have to do 45 hours because it's seat-based. All right, next. So those are just, so summing it up. 240 credits are based on your regular classroom period of 6 classes per semester. Over 4 years, 240 credits, you only need 230 to graduate. So that means you can fail 2. Okay? Now, you got summer school. You're going to do it in the summers. That's an additional 30 credits you can make. Credit recovery, by taking a 0 period, an extra period, having 7 periods instead of 6 periods can give you another 30 credits. And you can wait until your senior year because you messed up and now you're behind. Well, you can still earn 15 credits going to school at night before graduation to be able to walk on time. So the total opportunity for credits is like roughly 240 plus 60 is 300, 315. 315 total credit opportunities. With that information, let's go ahead and take a look at an example here, and I call her Susie. So Susie attended the school, and when she came in, they told her about this 230 credits, but she was busy speaking with her homies. And because she didn't really hear that 230, and she wasn't really that interested in that because it was a cute boy like 3 rows over. So, but anyway, she goes to her freshman year, and she fails 3 classes. But she's not worried because she says, well, senior year is a long way off. So she didn't go to summer school. She wasn't concerned. Sophomore year, she failed 2 more classes. But this time she got a little worried. So her parents said, I think you need to attend summer school. So she attended summer school and she passed 1 class. Junior year, she failed 2 classes. Do you get a pattern here? That once a student fails or gets a habit of failing classes, that is okay, as long as I'm passing the majority of my classes. And so she fails 2 classes in her junior year, and now she attends summer school. And again, but she still wants the time to play with the homies. And so she only passes 1 class. So the question is, can Susie graduate on time? And if so, how? I'll let you think about that for a moment. Can she graduate on time based off the scenario that I just mentioned? Here's something that's key. Credit opportunities and time are a factor. What do I mean by that? Well, when Susie attended her freshman year in school, she failed 3 classes. That means that she lost, in this case, 15. She lost 15. She lost 3 classes, 5 credits each. That's 15 credits she lost the opportunity for. She didn't go to summer school. She didn't go to summer school either. So because she wasn't concerned, well, guess what? She lost the opportunity for 10 more credits. So she failed 3 and she didn't go to summer school. She lost the ability of earning 25 credits. Even more so. She failed 3 classes and she failed them both the first semester and the second semester. That's a year-long course. That's even worse. So Susie lost 10 credits of summer school and failed 3 classes, which is 15 credits. So she lost the ability to earn those credits. Now she can graduate, in this case, can she graduate? She can graduate if she takes a 7th period or a 0 period each semester in her senior year without failing a single class. And she's going to need to go to night school in adult education. Time and factor are important. Let's take a look at another student. The student's name is Javon. Let's take a look at old Javon. He was a hot shot. Let's see what Javon did. So Javon, this freshman year, he failed 13 or 14 classes. Whoa, how can he fail 13 or 14 classes? Wait a minute. He's taken 14 classes. How did he do that? He's taken 7 periods. For some reason, this student was motivated, that they set their initial freshman schedule to have 7 classes instead of 6. Well, that's okay if you're motivated to do something. But something happened along the way because he failed 13 or 14 of them. And then he didn't go to summer school. Next, his sophomore year, because I said, if they get in the habit of failing, it's addictive. It's like a virus going through their veins and everything else. So he fails 5 more classes. So the question I ask again, wow, can Javon graduate on time? And the answer is, no way. Because he only has 315 credit opportunities. So if he failed 13 classes, okay, he failed 13 classes. In his 9th grade alone, Javon lost 145 credit opportunities. Just in the 9th grade. If you subtract the 145 credit opportunities he had and subtract it from the 315, he only has 170 credit opportunities left. And 170 is less than the 230 to graduate. But no one was watching this first semester. See, he lost another 60 credit opportunities, leaving him only 110. So Javon became, unfortunately, a high school graduate. Here's the learning lesson. 17 is a magic number. If you have a student that fails 17 classes, I'm talking about a semester class, if they fail those 17 classes, they will not be able to graduate. Okay? Not from a traditional seat-based program. Can't do it. There's just no way for them to do that. They've just really, they're done. They're going to have to go and drop out, or more importantly, they need to go to an alternative school. Not wait till the 11th grade. That individual needed to go to an alternative school to make up credit recovery and stuff immediately. Next, so why are so many students failing to meet graduation requirements? A lack of parent progress monitoring. You know, I've been in alternative education for a while. See, if Johnny or Susie attends school on a regular basis, then admin somehow overlooks them, like Javon, because he is not a discipline problem. And the school receives ADA, or average daily attendance, so the school's still receiving money. But eventually it gets to the point that there's not enough time as long as somebody's watching. So every year I have 11th grade students that report to continuation schools needing in excess of 150 credits to graduate. They should have been at our school a long time ago. Somebody should have been watching out for that student. Here's the thing. You have that many, it's not possible for you to go ahead and do credit recovery and be an A through G graduate. You're done. Okay? So without monitoring properly for that kid, their opportunities are gone. Next, every year 11th graders arrive to continuation schools with only 5 credits of math. And they are expected to pass the 11th grade summative assessment in the spring. So remediation in 11th grade just ensures that that student is going to be doing below grade work, like 9th and 10th grade work, but the state test is 11th grade level. So the pathway is not remediation, but acceleration. We need to assign grade work, but also anticipate intervention to support those within the curriculum. So most schools try to remediate. Big mistake. They should be accelerating, giving them grade level instruction with intervention supports. Next, diagnostics testing. In our case, we use the iReady or Exact Path diagnostics, and that's given three times a year. It's important for your child to take these diagnostics tests. It's important for you as the parent to be looking at the results and the progress of those tests. Okay? And then you need to make sure that your child is getting grade level learning pathways and they're not doing a bunch of remediation work. And also there's scheduled time for them to work on the pathways. These diagnostic systems are there to help your kids recover from their skill deficiencies. If they're below grade level, they need to be doing that at home. The teacher should not be making time for that in the classroom. You as a parent need to make sure that your little Johnny or Susie is working on these learning paths at home. I said again, at home. That's where that needs to be done. Get together with your teacher. Question is, so do you think that students are motivated to take a test or go in to take a test that they have no idea about any of the content and then later on receiving a confirmation that they are inferior or stupid? I wouldn't want to do that. Question is, do you know where your child is at now? Are they on grade level work? Do you want this to happen to your child in the future? To have to go in and take a test because nobody was watching? Involved as a parent, because God knows we need you. As a teacher, the only way for me to turn a child around that would come to me with those deficiencies was that I had to have a parent at home that was going to be working with me, that we were a partnership. That's how we got things done. So let's talk about some other issues or problems that we need to be able to monitor and you need to be aware of as a parent, because otherwise it may hit you in the pocketbook. So the California legislature has defined a truant with very precise language. It says that if a student is missing more than 30 minutes of instruction without an excuse 3 times during the year, they must be classified as truant. And this must be reported to the proper school authority. 3 times missing 30 minutes. Oh my God. I've been to some high schools and you see that the bell goes off for first period and you see hundreds of students up and out in the quiet area. This is a problem. Okay, so the education code is very specific. There's 180 school days, and it also classifies this. It says a public school, any pupil rather, is subject to compulsory full-time education. That means if he's absent for school without a valid excuse, in other words, you ain't got a doctor's note for 10 days, just your mom or dad saying, oh, well, Johnny's sick and everything else, for 10 days, that becomes a problem, okay? 10 days in the school year, that's 10%, 18 days. In this case, I'm sorry, it's 18 days. So watch out for the days. Otherwise, there are notification mandates. If you miss a certain amount of time, your child, you're going to receive a little nasty letter in the mail. First, it's going to be a little nice letter saying, won't you make sure that your child gets to school? But otherwise, if you ignore it and you don't take action, then there's going to be some other letters that you really definitely don't want to see. So there are interventions. It requires interventions, okay? And the school, if your child has problems with attendance, if they're not in the classroom, they're not learning, their performance is going to be low. And you need to be on top of it because their grades are going to go down. I can guarantee you, going back to Javon, if I wanted to pull up his attendance reports, okay, I would also see that kid was either two choices. Some of them come to school but don't do nothing, and admin loves them because they're not a problem behavior and they get paid money off of them. But then you have other ones, the reason they fail, because they never show up to school. So if you know that your child, because you will get a report, okay, you would definitely get a report. And one of the things you first want to check, if you find out that your child is failing all these classes, when you get together for a parent-teacher meeting, you need to sit down and the first thing you need to ask, I need to see the attendance report. You need to find out if your child has not been being slick by taking the mail and correspondence that's been coming from the school. Check it out. They're smart. They know how to do that. So I need to explain this so that you understand the differences. So students failing, students having behavior issues and other problems is nothing that's new. And over the years, educational researchers and doctors of education like myself have done research studies. And as a result, they've come up with solutions. And one of those solutions is called MTSS, which is multi-tiered systems of support. So what is that? It's a framework that helps educators, the teachers, provide academic and behavioral strategies for students with various needs. That's what it is. So what's the difference between MTSS and RTI? Response to intervention is a model for identifying and addressing the specific academic needs. So MTS does all of the areas, any areas of problems with the kids. But response to intervention is the things that I would do as a math teacher in my classroom when I give a test or I give a quiz and I notice that Johnny fails it. So if you have a good teacher and the one that cares about your child, when your child fails a test, there should be some feedback and there should be some action and there should be some phone calls to you as a parent to make you aware of the current deficiencies. So RTI is what the teacher needs in order to use, but I need to make sure you understand. So let's say that your child is not progressing. Well, there's something what we call a student study team or a student success team. It depends. Virtually what happens is that we get together. We see that there's a problem and we bring everybody in. Okay? I mean, so you have the teachers, you have the parent, you have the student. We bring in social workers. We bring in a whole team of people to actually sit down and identify exactly where the problem is. So if necessary, if it turns out that we may have to evaluate the child and there's some learning disabilities. That means we have to provide an individual education program. Okay, an IEP is developed to ensure that the child who has a disability is receiving specialized instruction. Okay, so I need to make sure I put this on here. So an IEP is that the student is going to receive specialized instruction and related services. A 504 plan, on the other hand, a 504 plan is developed to ensure that the child has a disability identified under the law and is attending it, again, but they're going to receive accommodations. So if the student is, they either receive specialized instruction or they're going to receive accommodations. Next. So those are the two. These are the laws. Individuals with Disability Education Act. That's why we're able to do that with an IEP, and the Section 504 or an IEP plan, and that's what the laws are for. Next. So if a student has an IEP or 504, does that make them ineligible for AP courses? Well, Doc, what are you talking about? I'm talking about advanced placement courses. See, over the years, a lot of students are minority students or the ones who are socially disadvantaged or etc. Because they fail all these courses, it limits their opportunity. Let's say all of a sudden there were problems at home, domestic problems, and now the child moves to a good home and a good family, and now they got parents and stuff that are actually activated and wanting to get involved in the school to help them. But all of a sudden they failed all these courses. Well, you get a priority. The priority has got to do the minimum of 130 credits and pass those courses for a state requirement. Okay? But the other thing is, let's say your child does not have that problem now, and you have done some of the things which are in this course. Here's the key. Every child needs to do an AP course, and I tell you why. An AP course is very rigorous, and the coursework is like a college course. So, if you want to know your child is available or has the skill set to go to a community college or a four-year college, put them in an AP course. They can do it in an AP course, but they will be without accommodations. But if you have a good teacher that's using the response to intervention model, he's going to make sure that there's extra support and everything else for them. Pay now or pay later. By pay now, I mean invest time every week helping your child in school. Do that now. Or pay later. Having a teen in high school drop out, living at home, eating all your food in your refrigerator and your leftovers, running your AC at low levels while you at work, and you're going to have a heart attack when you get that bill. I know because I have been there. So I'm putting this out in this course. You invest time every week helping your child be successful, doing the things which are in this course, being the motivator, the resource provider. And this one is about monitoring and checking up on them to be sure they're okay. This is Dr. Smith, and this is the eve, my last vacation day on a Sunday, right before school starts. I'm excited to get back to be with an in-person instruction. But anyway, this is Dr. Smith, and that's what I did for my summer vacation, was to design this course to help parents be better parents and help our kids be successful in school. It's Dr. Smith. You have a great day.